Hey, how's it going? Let me turn my friend down here. So today I'm going to talk about the Adam Project. And I guess I'm just having a Ryan Reynolds week. I took a few days to get through the Fun Guy video that I put out previous to this. Well, I think there was one in between, but it was a Spirit TV Critic video. So the last one of those I put out prior to this was Free Guy and starred Ryan Reynolds and a bunch of other people, blah, blah, blah. You may refer to that video if you would like to know more. Or if you don't, skip it. I don't know. Do whatever you want to do. That's what I want you to do. So, I'm just going to start off by saying the music I have playing is just one song I'm looping by my friend and great artist, Jeff Dahl. And I do not have his permission right now to be playing this. And I have tried to get a hold of him to ask him if I could play his music in my videos. And I just haven't been able to make contact with him. However, he has always supported me. So I'm going to cross my fingers. Double crosses. But not that kind. That he will be fine with this because this channel is not monetized. I am making not a single cent here. And this is Jeff Dahl's music. And the song that I got looping away is called Positive, and it's from another album, but this is the one that was handy. And it's a song that he published or put out when the AIDS epidemic in the 80s was just crazy, out of control, like competing for attention with the crack epidemic, I guess. Then they were like blending together. It was like not a good, it was a bad time. It was ugly and dark. So he wrote this song, and it sure is peppy and happy sounding, but the lyrics, no. Like a lot of songs, it tricks you, it pulls you in like a hey ya. Okay, but about the movie, enough about that. So it was a sci-fi time travel, uh, really kind of normal situation that made all that happen, where there was an investor, and the investor basically does a biff and basically turns into a biff because, as you will see in the movie if you watch it, she doesn't start out this terrible person. So this is what I think. Well, okay, I don't want to get ahead of myself about what I think quite yet. um the story is of a guy who is from, at the time that we first see him in the movie, he's from the future. He goes back expecting to go to a certain year, 2018. Oh, sorry, spoilers. I hope that was clear on the board. There will be spoilers. He goes back because his wife went back and didn't come back, and he didn't believe why they said, they being his and her boss both, um, Adam's boss and his wife Laura. Uh, he knew that she was better at her job than to crack up and die the way they said. Like, I suppose it was not impossible for something like that to happen, but he just didn't buy it. He was like, no, that just isn't right. So he goes back in time for the year before, when she presumably dies or disappears, and misses, because he's kind of a cup. And can I just say here and now, Adam at any age is terrible at keeping secrets, at keeping his mouth shut. He is like a sieve. Don't tell him anything at any age ever. Nothing that you don't want to get out. You know, if you tell him, forget it, it's over. So the year that he ends up in, which was the wrong year, not the one he was aiming for, um, he goes to the home where he grew up. And he doesn't realize at first that he has like misjudged his calculations, but he comes face to face with his younger self. And I found this very interesting because, well, once again, I'm getting ahead of myself. So they have an interesting interaction, and we get to see. Okay, now I'm going to interrupt myself with the first thing I was going to say, and it was this film has like a definite in your face, flashy, um, interesting, sort of shiny thing to look at quality, but there's more to it than that. And I think what the subtext of this story really is finding our inner self and coming to terms with the things that are not our inner self, even our inner child, and coming to grips with the things that kind of screwed you up your whole life, and Adam gets a rare opportunity to go back and deal with this Adam, which was a brat, basically. And his father, when we meet him, has died like around a year before when older big Adam arrives. And he's, as a 12-year-old sort of runt, he's experiencing like the cruel children side of life at school, which is his outside of home life, basically. And then, he comes home and is just kind of a shit to his mother because even though he loves her, he basically does not know how to act. He's lost this role model and just his father, like, I don't know if you people know this, but boys go like super cuckoo if they can't connect with their dad, and girls do too, but it's like a different thing. So he's having problems, little Adam, and then he meets Big Adam when he comes back, who has to kind of hide out and not disrupt the timeline by letting his mom see him as an adult while he's still there as a child. It's funny because the mother played very ably by what is the woman's name? I always lose my brain. Hold on. Jennifer Garner. I see her all the time. I don't know why I can't remember. Oh, because I'm filming. That's why. So Jennifer Garner plays Ellie, the mom, very ably because she has to deal with having lost a husband, having to take on all the responsibilities of everything. And have you seen that? Well, when you see their house, you'll be like, how does she do it? And then she's got to come home and deal with this little sort of a 4-foot blender, basically, that she can't even emotionally reach toward without getting torn and shredded. And he loves her though. Like, again, he does not know how to act. So I'm gonna sort of go back and forth from my bullet points to the actual points of the movie. And one of the first things that kind of got me when I started it was the music. I was like, why in the hell are they playing music that was old when I was a kid? I'm almost I'm almost 60. They put that music on and I was like, seriously? I'm talking about the opening scene music. You'll hear it and you'll be like, me probably like going, what the F, man? Here's my deal. Can we not get music from like the same decade as the movie? It's okay to have like those things, those older tunes for punctuation maybe, but this was a futuristic movie. Like, why in the world were they playing music from the 70s? The 1970s. It just, to me, it doesn't make sense. Until and when this happens, it's kind of much later in the film. And I have to say, there's not a lot of music that does that. I mean, there's music, obviously. It's got like a score and a soundtrack, but I'm talking featured, like pop music. There's not a whole lot. So I had already been through my, why in the hell are they playing this Vietnam era music? Blah. And then the scene when Laura, the wife, that Adam has gone back to collect because he knows if he find he just knew he was right about something being fishy about her disappearance slash death. She has more to say about what happened about that in the film, which I will not spoil for you, but I just gotta say, man, when she appears on the scene, the Zepp breaks out. And I don't care how old I am, I will always love Led Zeppelin. So, and Good Times, Bad Times is one of my favorite songs. Got like probably my all time favorite Bonham drum beat, drum line, whatever you want to call it. He's the king in the song on drums for me. So that was a little embarrassing, just a little bit. But you know what took the embarrassment away was seeing Zoe Saldana is an excellent fake fighter. Like she really looks like she's means to kick your butt, and I love it. And I love movie choreography or fight choreography. I know I've mentioned this a number of times, and I will say the reason why I like it so much as compared to like, why don't I like real fighting like MMA? What was that? I don't know. But you get my point. I respect MMA, and I actually do like to watch real matches um, of various types of martial arts, mostly like MMA and boxing is impressive. The men fighting or women are impressive. But the difference between the real stuff and the movie stuff is after the fighting, I do get bummed out occasionally because they just jump up all like makeup untouched, even when, come on, you can put on a little fake swelling and some, bruising, but they never do. Sometimes I'm really aware of it and sometimes I'm not. But that's the difference. I don't care so much for the real stuff to watch as much as the movie choreography or the whatever TV fake choreography, fight choreography, because people come up still looking beautiful. Like, well, have you seen people after an MMA fight? They look like they have ground beef on their face. Yuck. So, yeah. Speaking of fighting, I noticed something. I guess Ryan Reynolds is like tall because he got hit by Lewis, the father, played by Mark Ruffalo, and Ruffalo had to kind of like run up into the air to reach his face to hit him. And then another character uh, in the film, Christos, who is like a minion of the future people, and I don't know if you noticed, but I separated the cast, and the futures is what I called some of them, or the future, and that those were the characters of Maya Sonaria. What the heck? Maya was her first name. Hold on. Sorian. I just watched it like a few hours ago. Empty. Maya Sorian is the investor I spoke of earlier, the one that biffs. And so she's got like a whole team of these fighters, and they're actually the team that Adam and Laura were a part of. But she is so, I don't know, she's biffed it again. But she comes off like really horrible, and like I said, you get to see a younger version at the beginning of this story where she's not like gone to the dark side basically. So she has like a special team member from the guard, I guess you could call it, a bodyguard guy called Christos. And I was kind of thrilled to see the actor that plays Christos in here because he's number 4 from Sci-Fi's Dark Matter. And that is one of my favorite shows. And it's going to be part of something I'm putting together about the way women are written and portrayed. Obviously, Christos, the guy, Alex Mallari Jr., is not a woman, but the star of Dark Matters is. And there's a few very prominent, prominently placed women in the show, Dark Matters. But in this one, the actor Alex Mallari Jr. plays Christos, and he's a stinker. He's basically the enemy. And but here's a conundrum I ran into. When I was a kid and I saw the Karate Kid, I came away thinking that Ralph Macchio's character was the hero, but then later, someone pointed out to me that some reviewer that really he wasn't the hero. Kind of the guy that he beat with the blonde hair. I don't know all the names from Cobra Kai and such and such. I'm not like watching that stuff, but I know that it's there. And well, anyway, I came away from the movie like when I was a kid, like whenever it came out in the 80s, I guess, thinking that Ralph Macchio's character was a hero. It turns out it was the other guy that he did that he kicked with the broken leg and the crane pose and that. So, and also before that, like it must be a theme I needed to get because before that, I was watching something and a child was being read the story of Jack and the Beanstalk, and you always think Jack is the hero, or I did, but I did on some level understand that Jack was breaking and entering into the giant's house. And it wasn't until I'm like way old, like this was only like a couple of years ago. So, you know how long it's been since I was read the story of Jack and the Beanstalk? Like, that's a long time to be misunderstood or misled. And so, or for me to misunderstand, not to be misunderstood. But yes, I was definitely misled by myself, I guess. I don't know why I went that direction because on some level, I did realize, as I did not with the Karate Kid, like what the dynamics really were. But as a kid, I knew that like Jack was stealing. He was like breaking into the giant's house and stealing. Although the story that I had when I was a kid, I had a book of Grimm's fairy tales. I had a bunch of fairy tale books, and I had the Grimm's fairy tales with all the Grimm stuff in it. Like I don't even know if you can find that today. But as I'm saying this, I do recall that the giant had been making raids on the humans to grind up their bones for his bread, which he does talk about. So I don't know. It's just got me looking at things a little differently. But I'm going to just come back to Maya on this because, as I said, or did I say this? Maybe I didn't say this, but this story. Yes, I did talk about the subtext being finding your inner child and working your stuff out. Basically, Maya's inner child grows into this acquisitive ass that just wants to indulge her impulse toward moral turpitude and I couldn't help but make the comparison to the Russian president, the way he's coming down on Ukraine right now. Like, I'm sorry, reality just drifts in, and this is not a fiction show. This is just somebody sitting talking in real time with this stuff going on this side of the screen, which, as an American, does not directly affect me. Although it's interesting that well, no, 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 no. I'm not even going to go into that quagmire. It's too much. Back to the story. So, let's see. The kid. Okay, really great pick. Like this kid is very talented. I mean, he's got comic timing. Like, he's so good. uh, but I noticed a couple of things. And one is the scene where Lil Adam cottons on to the fact that he's Big Adam. When I was watching that, when they focused on that kid's face, I'm sorry, all I could notice was how much lipstick they had plastered on him. I have a problem with makeup because I'm not using any in here, like, and I don't have one of those fancy ring lights. But whatever light I use on my videos, my face is visible. It's like a tone, single tone on like actors and like on the Stephen Colbert late night comedy TV show, I noticed that the band members, like the men, the women I would expect to be wearing lipstick, but like the drummer, he's white, so I was like, his lips are way too pink. And then I like focused on it. So when it was just, I noticed like that has to be lipstick. It had that greasy shine that lipstick has. And then the band leader, oh man, what's that boy's name? I was just watching it. John something. Sorry, guy, that I forgot. But he's black and he's quite a bit darker than me. And they got him wearing this like bright, not bright, but like orangey lipstick. Like you can totally see it. Like if a black dude's lips are going to be any color, it ain't going to be orange. So it had to be something they put on him. And if they put some on Steven, it's very subtle. So, but the other thing I hate about makeup is like on black people, they they always appear with this like smear of darkness across their head, which if you're really dark, it looks like a smear of poop. It looks terrible. And then there'll be like a sort of T-shaped area that they don't put makeup on. So if someone's like darker and not like Yafet Koto dark, but darker than me, you will be able to notice like the tonal difference between the crap smear on the forehead and then like the lighter, like I don't understand. And then like it'll be like a little lighter through here and then more darkness on it. Like I don't understand. Like all it does for me is make me focus on the fact that they got a bunch of crap on their face. I don't understand how it helps the lights. Like I don't know. Are you having trouble seeing my features? Maybe my glasses might be darkening a little because they're those the ones that change color in the light. I can't remember the name of that, but this light's pretty bright white. They might, but my actual face, my skin, one tone it doesn't have a and a. I don't know what that is, but black makeup artists do something. They got our people. Not that I have anything to do with these other people. I'm just a part of the race outwardly, and they got us looking like crap. Why hasn't someone come up with better makeup that or a style to blend? I don't know. Okay, sorry, just ranting for no reason. Okay, let me see. Am I missing anything? Oh yeah. So at one point, the house where little Adam lives in, the house where Big Adam grew up, gets completely trashed by the future soldiers, and it just never comes up again. Like they do go back to the house after that, little Adam and Big Adam, and it just never comes up. Like at no point did Ellie come home and find like the whole front windows just and wall just bashed in and a huge mess. And where was the dog? What was the dog doing? Presumably the dog would be home, right? While everybody else was out. And I don't know. I just thought it was like a weird gap. And if I noticed it, somebody else is going to notice it. Okay, I think I have one final thing to say here. And it was about not the actor. It was about the kid, but not the actor himself. But the kid in the story, Adam, little Adam, he is very savvy about time travel, paradoxes, multiverses, and all of the kind of things that are sort of in like the lexicon, but not necessarily proven or routine or uniform. It's just sort of like theoretical, as the father, points out, or tries to point out many times. But the thing is I at least have seen some things that purport to be actual time travel. Like, but what you get to see is like someone coming and going, like going into an area where in front of the camera and then disappearing, and then they come back, so called, and then they reappear at a later time, is what you're told. And evidently, the process is like hard on the body, so almost every time the people that I've seen in these coming back videos has thrown up. So that's a sort of thing where you got to assume our government is working on it, and that if they've had help from ETs or stuff that they somehow got a hold of, that they were able to use for time travel that they reverse engineered. I don't know, but there's definitely an idea that there's like sanctioned research and work done on it. I can't see how that's not the case. And that there's stuff that is true that leaked out. I also can not see how that's not the case. Because also people are not good at keeping secrets, and this stuff is so fantastic and wonderful. Who wouldn't want to know and share it with everyone? But they do have to keep stuff secret for some reason. I hate the secret keeping of governments and organizations, and if it's for our own good or for like more nefarious purses, well, purses are usually involved in the nefarious actions. I'm not a fan. Like, just say it. I mean, yeah, don't keep the secrets. It's terrible. But the thing is they made a point of establishing all of that about the time travel. But what you learn from the future people is not much. And I don't think it's because they don't want to create paradoxes. Obviously, like Adam is like, the hell with it, I'm going to the past, whichever one I need to find my wife. And then, Maya also, well, she's not a scientist, however, which comes up very pointedly at some point in the movie where Lewis is given the opportunity to retort when Maya says, "You've never understood the I don't know this the selling side of it or something," and Lewis retorts with, "And you've never understood the science," and then something pretty cool happens right after that. Um, but they don't give anything up, and like I said, in some cases, I understand a need to be secretive. Like if someone knows something about the future, as they say over and over in this film, and then immediately ignore. You don't want to like change the future, affect it. You don't want to tell people stuff that you know about the future that about them that they don't. There's all these like restrictions. So there is an entity or several out there that I would say know stuff about the future, but don't share it to the people that have located them and listen to them, like myself, because it will affect us and therefore affect the future. And like they're for real, so they don't screw around and mess up and go to timelines and blow all kinds of stuff up. And it's crazy. Like the film talks about don't do these things and then just does it all over the place. Very human. So, pardon. If you're confused about my overall assessment, let me just say that I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Maybe you can't tell. It was it was fun to watch. I was able to watch it 3 times in a row, and it was over. Boom, 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 so fast. And when a movie is like, "Whoa, it's over already!" After the third time, that's a good movie. So, thumbs up. It is my recommendation that you see and enjoy this movie. Um, I think everyone was so well cast in this. The ones the people whose faces you can actually see. You don't know who's behind all those soldier masks. It might be like Star Wars, and there's all kinds of like famous people doing cameos. You just don't know until some editor's cut or Easter egg thing at the back end of some video, or you know how these things work. There's like all these little special places with the special little insider information inside baseball sci-fi. Oh, and there's a little tiny bit of, well, not baseball catch, but it's poignant, and then rips your guts out. And that's good too. I like a roller coaster. Okay, I finally got it out of my system. Oh, okay. The light's doing all kinds of crazy things. Not this light. It's the phone. So I'm just gonna go and say thank you and good night. Enjoy.